Hey guys, it's Ratam from FTC Team 4717, the Macromancers, and today we're going to be creating a Lego part in Onshape. So to start off, I'm going to be opening the folder that we created in the last video, and you want to make sure that you're following this video series because we're going to be doing things in reference to other parts in the future, and we'll obviously have all of these parts in the description below for you guys to be able to access. You could also follow along with the video tutorials, and be able to create the parts yourselves for experience, but you don't necessarily have to. So we're in our tutorial folder here, and we want to create another document to create a Lego piece. So we can go up to the create button and create a document, and we can call it Lego part. And in the next video, we're going to create another Lego part for this Lego part that we're creating today to go into, and then we're going to be assembling both of those together. So we're going to use assembly in the future, so we don't really need it right now, so we can just delete it. So now we have to think about how we're going to structure this Lego part, because if you think about a Lego part really has two components to it. It has the actual rectangular prism, and it has the notches on the top of the rectangular prism that goes into the other part that we're going to create in a future video. So first we want to create the rectangular prism because that is what we're going to build off of. So we can create the rectangular prism by creating a sketch, and it doesn't matter what plane we use, but I'm going to be using the front plane because I like using it, and I can go to the front plane here. And so now I'm going to get the center point rectangle, and the center point rectangle is that the center of the rectangle starts at wherever you select it to be. And I like using this because you can use the origin as the center, so it goes out like this, and I like that too because it automatically uses the origin as the center if you choose the origin as the center, and that's just really nice to have there. So now we can dimension both of these sides to 6 inches for this side and 3 inches this side. It doesn't matter what size you do, but I like to do 6x3 for some reason. I just have been doing that. And also one thing you need to know about dimensions is that you have to suit if you're like making parts based off another part, you have to suit it for the other part. So if there was already an existing Lego piece for this one that we're making, that's like another piece that this part could go into, then we would have to make it based off that. So say if we found a CAD file for a Lego piece that was 5 inches by 2.5 inches tall, you would have to suit it. You would have to suit this part that you're making for that one, or else it won't fit. So that's one thing you need to know about dimensions. I'm custom making this part, so that's why I put my own dimensions, but that's something that you guys need to know. So we have our rectangle here, and we're going to do two different sketches, one for the notches and one for the rectangular prism itself. So we have our first rectangular prism. We have our rectangular prism done in the sketch, and now we need to extrude it to actually become three-dimensional. So we can make the depth 1 inch. That looks nice, and it already chose the sketch because I had pre-selected it, and we can click done. Now if you want it to look nicer, we could change the color by going to the appearance panel here and clicking on double clicking on this, and we can select the color here. Typically I've seen that Lego pieces are normally red, I believe, so we're going to be using red here. So we can click down on that, and so this part is now red. Now we can create another sketch for the notches to go on, and we can click on the sketch tool here again, and then clicking on the face of extrude 1. So as you can see here, if we hover over this, it shows that this face here is highlighted, which means that's what we're going to be sketching on. So we can click the front plane here again to go back to the front plane. And now we have to use the center point circle. Well, one thing that I like to do when I'm creating my my parts is having construction lines, and in this scenario it might be useful because you could have all of the center points of the circle to be points on that construction line. And a construction line is basically used to construct other parts, basically. So I'll try to explain that in a bit. So we can use construction mode here and then click on the line. We can start somewhere out here, like over here. Make sure it's straight and just put it somewhere. You can put it up here, and then go across. It really doesn't matter where. But now you want to dimension this to the top here. So we know if we wanted to put this line exactly at the middle, so if we wanted the center points of the circles to be exactly at the middle from here to here, what we would have to do is some basic math. You basically have to dimension, you have to figure out the dimension of this side here, which is 6, and we would have to divide it by 2, which equals 3, but that one gives the distance from here to here. We want half of that, so we want to do 3 divided by 2, which is 1.5. So we want to put this 1.5 inches from the top, and so it's, for some reason it is on this line. So, and I just realized that this line is 3 inches actually. So you would have to do 3 divided by 2, which is 1.5, and then 1.5 divided by 2 which is 0.75, so that's my fault. So you want to change this to 0.75 inches and click on the front plane again. So now you have a line that you're going to make your points on for the circle. So we can take the center point circle here and just click on somewhere for the circle to go, and it automatically makes the center point a point on this line. Now we can make the dimension of the circle of the diameter to be, say, 0.4 inches. If you want the notches to be small, we can change that. We can change that to 0.5 to make it a little bit bigger. So that's nice. And we might want to dimension the how far away it is from the left side here. So it's already 0.6 inches. We might want to make it smaller. So let's do 0.25 inches to have nice numbers. And so you might be wondering, it's a pain to actually do every single circle. And what we're going to do here actually is we're going to have 5 going across here and 5 going across on the bottom here. So you might be thinking it's a pain to do so, but there's an easier way to do it. So there's a tool called the linear pattern, and it basically creates a pattern, and I'll show you guys by clicking on it here. So you want to click on linear pattern with the 4 boxes, then you want to click the entity that you want to pattern. So it's the circle that we want to pattern. So as you see here, it shows a bunch of random dimensions and everything. You might be confused, but it's really simple to understand. So you don't want to worry about this 1x over here. What you want to worry about is the 3x over here. So this is basically saying how many circles you're gonna have. So if you have 5 circles, which is what we wanted earlier, we just put 5. And so as you can see, this is not evenly spread out. So we have to do some basic math again. So first we want to delete this dimension, and we want to set we want to create a dimension from this side all the way to this side. So if we do some basic math, this line here is 6 inches long, and you want to subtract 0.5 because it's 0.25 from this side, and the circle on this side will be 0.25 from the end. So 6 minus 0.5 is 5.5, so you want to put in 5.5 inches, and it will automatically make these circles the equal amount from each other. So as you can see, this third circle is at the exact center of this line. And so now we're done with the top row, but you might be wondering how to do the bottom row. So we can use something called the mirror tool, which is pretty self-explanatory. We can use this line. So as you can see here at the top, it says select the mirror line. So we have to click a line that we want to mirror these circles across. So if we click this line and then click the entity that we want to mirror, as you can see, it went on, like this circle was mirrored onto this side. So you can click on every single circle here, And we can do the construction line as well, just to have like a reference in the future if we ever want to come back and change something. But since it's mirrored, if we change one of these things, it'll change these things too, actually. So if we change the dimension of this circle, the diameter, to 0.3 inches, these actually got smaller as well. So that's something that's neat about the mirror tool. So I'll keep 0.5 inches. Same thing, it has to do with the same thing happens here. So if we change 0.4 inches, as you can see, the bottom row also got mirrored. So you don't necessarily have to have a construction line. I guess you could have it if you want, but you don't necessarily have to. So now we have our sketch done for the notches, and we actually need to make it 3-dimensional. So you might be wondering that we don't want 2 different parts, but here's where the features of the extrude tool come in. So as you can see here, there's an add tool, which basically adds to an existing part. So if you go down here to merge scope and click on it, this is the part that you will be adding to. So we can click on part 1 here, and now we have to go back here and make sure it's blue to select on it, and we have to click the things that we're going to extrude. And in a construction line, the construction line doesn't actually extrude. It doesn't affect the extrude at all. It's just used to construct other things, like the circles that we created. So the construction lines are nice to create sketches and make sure everything is dimensioned properly. But so now we can click on sketch 2, and you'll see the construction lines won't extrude. As you can see, these notches are coming out, but it might be a little too long, so we can change that to 0.25 inches, and yeah, that looks nice. So we're done with the extrude here, and as you can see, it actually didn't create a new part. So if we go back to the extrude and click new instead, it actually creates all of these parts in the parts list here, and they're all different colors. But if you add it to this, and if we wanted to say 3D print it, if you did new, it'll print each part out. But if you do add, it'll print this entire thing together. So that's something that's really nice of the extrude tool. But yeah, you guys can look around this, try to make it yourself maybe, and you basically just created a Lego part, and that's actually kind of hard to do, especially if you're starting off. So that's good. In the next episode, we're going to be assembling another Lego piece we create with this one. And that is the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. We hope that you are here for until the end of the video series. And adios.